It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Jamie is a leading Tampa Bay real estate agent and featured on the Wall Street Journal's list of top 100 real estate agents in the nation. Jamie invites you to list your home with him today and learn more at tampabayradio.com. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Maloney.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and thanks for staying tuned to the second hour of That Business Show. Now with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Let's go and bring our next guest for the program. He is a returning guest to the program, now with a new company, is Ashby Green, who is the president of Gazelle Finance Planning and Analysis, and you can learn more about him throughout the discussion over at the website, gazellefpa.com. So, Ashby, welcome to the program today.
Thanks, Jimmy, for having me.
So I was joking with him before the segment there. As soon as I see Gazelle, I think of Tony Little there on that Gazelle, that elliptical machine that he used to go nonstop on and everything. So, but that wasn't necessarily the inspiration, though, for the company, was it?
It was not, but
right.
But it's inspiring nonetheless.
It is inspiring, and I don't know what it was about his infomercials, but I would watch those and over again, and I don't even know if he's still even involved in the infomercial business. Used to see him over in at the gym there in South Tampa quite a bit, but I don't go to the gym too much anymore, as can be seen by my size these days. Nonetheless, so Gazelle Finance Planning and Analysis. Tell us a little bit about what this company is.
So, Jimmy, I recently left Kobe Marketing, a great company in downtown St. Pete. Took it through a sales process, and being an entrepreneur, thought I'd go out on my own. And Gazelle FP&A does mostly interim or fractional CFO services.
Okay.
So we help people that go through growing pains specifically.
Okay.
Whether those are small or large companies.
All right. And so Kobe Marketing, why did you leave Kobe? Was that just an interim position that you were brought in to kind of build up the position, and then you wanted to step out? Tell me a little bit about that transition.
It was not. It was a privately held company that I came down from Atlanta. Worked with some great friends over the period of time in which I was there, a little greater than 4 years. But through the growth, the time came that I needed to be a little more entrepreneurial. And after going through the process that I went through, it was time to move on.
Okay, so Gazelle is, you said you step in and you help people kind of with that CFO role of a company, Chief Financial Officer. And so how does that relate to just your textbook accountants and your financiers and things like that?
So that's a really good question. We focus more on being strategic, very operational. And while accounting falls into that, that's just one of a lot of things that we work on. So we really help people go to the next level. Growth is hard. Sometimes you lose focus on things that are important because you're busy growing your business. So we step in and help with those things.
Now, do you find yourselves and your staff becoming like bookkeepers, or are you actually in there making decisions for these companies on how to spend and invest their dollars?
Ideally, we help with strategic decisions and operational decisions.
Yeah, because the CFO makes those decisions, whereas the bookkeeper's just keeping the books, and that's what I'm saying. So when people bring you in, it's under the guise of, hey, we're here to make decisions. We're here to be your CFO, correct?
That's correct, but we also do bookkeeping if necessary. It certainly helps you become intimate with the business. So.
Yeah. Is it difficult to kind of get people to turn over the reins of that CFO to an outsourced company? And how do you go about making that sell to the entrepreneurs out there that are running their companies?
So that may be difficult for some. A lot of these companies that I'm working with are privately held, but the owners are asking for my involvement. So it's a little easier because they felt a certain pain, or they realize that they need help.
Is it that some owners, everybody gets into the business because they have that good idea, or that product or the service that they know how to do, but they don't necessarily know how to manage the money when the money starts coming in. And so that's where a good CFO can come in and say, this is how we need to allocate these funds. And so you can go do what you know how to do, which is lead your people and sell your product or your service. Is that kind of how you present, Gazelle Finance Planning and Analysis to the clients?
I've seen that be the case a lot of times. I've also had clients that are very in tune to their financial education and are running a business very well. At the same time, they only have so many hours in a day.
Right.
So I'm able to help with them. When you're the owner, you wear a lot of hats. I'm able to take one or two of those hats.
Now, when do they call you? Do they usually call you when they have things under control and they want to take it to the next level, or do they call you when things are kind of out of control and they say, hey, I need help? I mean, at what point are they getting you on the phone?
I've seen both sides of it. I've seen people do it in advance, in preparation, being proactive about what they need in the future. And normally a greater opportunity is when there's real pain and they're calling me a little bit late.
Right. Now, what is your background in finance and accounting then?
So I've started out of school in auditing and M&A, litigation advisory support, and
Auditing. What type of companies were you auditing when you first started?
Started with Ernst & Young, and we audited the gamut of companies.
So you were doing like the large corporate companies then, and did you ever do the small business owner who keeps all his records in a shoebox?
I did not for Ernst & Young. I did after serving time at Ernst & Young.
Because I always joke with auditors, I don't know how you guys do that type of work, because it's just a mess when you go into some of these companies and how they keep their records. And I know a lot of business owners kind of want to create their own rules when it comes to expenses and income, and you kind of got to educate them a little bit, but you don't want to educate them too much because then they're going to fire you. And so how were you able to balance, education versus, the law when you come to clients?
That's a good point. Just through a lot of talks and getting to work with the owners that you can. And that doesn't mean that all clients are right for us if you can't convince them to do the right thing.
If you're dealing with the large companies who have their procedures and you're dealing with staff members versus entrepreneurs out there, I mean, it's a completely different marketplace, obviously. But when you're dealing with the small business owner, nobody teaches us how to keep books and records. I had to teach myself QuickBooks on the fly, and I'm still learning QuickBooks. But that's a program that throws you through for a loop the first time you get behind it and everything. How would you describe?
It is. We're glad to help with those things, by the way. So we serve companies that have all their processes in place, but we also serve companies that have zero process in place when it comes to the financial or accounting side of things. Mm-hmm. So we'll dive in and take that cigar box full of receipts. And
it was funny because when I started, I do a lot of expense management for banks, and so I needed to learn QuickBooks. And so when I took over years ago managing the bank-owned properties, me and my staff learned QuickBooks, and we found out how to put in all the expenses and everything. We thought we were doing good, and then our accountants came at the end of the year and they said, "Where are all your deposits?" And we thought by just receiving in the payments, the deposits were magically going in. We had neglected a completely important step, which is actually to make the deposit inside QuickBooks. So we were receiving payments back, but we weren't doing that step. Just the trials and tribulations of a typical business owner.
Sure.
Do you get those?
We do. Always good to do either a monthly or quarterly checkup, so that you're not finding that out at year end.
Yeah, no, we found it out early enough and everything, but it was just funny. We thought that we had it mastered and everything, and the accountants are like, "Well, you got everything received, but you don't have any deposits yet. That's why you're running a big negative balance up there." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." We just thought that number would somehow balance out at the end, and that's what happens when you're teaching yourself business on the fly, which is what I ended up doing.
Just glad you had deposits.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's a good thing. I mean, I'm one of those guys who, in the beginning, I would just go to the bank. Okay, there's money there. That's good. That's all I'm worried about right now.
It's a good start.
That's I think a lot of ways companies still manage their money. They're like, all right, the balance in the checking account is still positive. I'm doing good. They don't break it down and really dive into the books the way like a CFO does.
Sure.
Talk to me a little bit about how the services of a CFO can benefit a company that just goes into their bank account, just looks and see if they have money there.
We help a lot with companies like yours or others that don't do a lot of planning, whether it's they don't want to or they don't have time because they're busy. Planning is extremely important. Mm-hmm. If you ever need bank financing going forward, setting up a credit line, always being prepared in advance of needing that is a lot easier than
so
when
you help them get the budgeting and the forecasting in place ahead of when they need it, because they need to get a loan then, for instance.
We do a lot of budgeting, forecasting, and advising around things, planning for the future, being strategic with your numbers.
Mm-hmm. Now, what size companies does Gazelle, the company that you're now president of, serve?
So we have our largest company right now is in between 50 and 100 million. At the same time, it's as important to talk about the small ones. We have actually a startup that's pre-revenue as well. That doesn't mean that they don't need
pre-revenue.
The same type of help.
A lot of us have been there. Now, what is your niche client out there? Who does Gazelle work best with?
The ideal client for us would be one that is experiencing a lot of growth, spinning off some of that pain that I suggested earlier that gives us a lot of opportunities to come in and really help.
Okay, and what geographic area does Gazelle serve?
Predominantly the Tampa Bay area. We do have a couple of clients in the Southeast.
Now, with the internet and stuff, can you work remotely with people across the country, for instance?
We certainly do. It's always better to have face-to-face
Now, do you typically,
meetings.
are you on contract, or do you come in with the idea that this is a permanent position? How does that work with Gazelle?
It is not a permanent position. We have agreements, but not contracts. So it's month-to-month retainers.
Okay. All right. And does Gazelle have industry specialists?
We do, and I would say that that's mostly in the tech tech side of things right now.
Okay.
But that doesn't preclude other industries that we have experience with that we want to focus on as well.
Okay, so why then hire a consultant from Gazelle then instead of full-time employees?
Well, you could do both. It might be a company that needs a full-time employee that doesn't have one up front, and certainly we can come in and help out in the interim. But more importantly, if they're not quite ready for a full-time, doing interim or fractional services is a lot cheaper.
Okay. And does Gazelle help build financial models for the different companies that you serve?
Absolutely. Everything strategic that you could think of financially, we help with, modeling included.
And so when you get into the company, there's going to be a learning curve associated with understanding the processes and the procedures. How difficult is that to kind of get in and get your feet wet and understand how to build a financial model then for a company?
It takes a little while to do it right. You know, building one without intimate knowledge of the business is going to be a weak model, but that's the fun part, getting to know the business and the owners and what they want to see out of the business.
How long before you typically kind of get comfortable with the business, and would you say, or is it varying across the industries and across the companies?
It depends on the size and the experience that we have with the business in advance, as well as the amount of time that the owners have to spend with us up front.
Okay. Now, what about year-end financials, tax returns? Are you stepping into the role of the CPA also as a chief financial officer fit in?
We are not. We allow the experts to handle all the tax work, and we work with a.
Now, do you have an accounting and bookkeeping? You said that part of what you're doing though is, you're in there to be a CFO and make those financial decisions, but oftentimes you end up in a bookkeeping role. But you're still at the end of the year, you turn those over to their to their CPAs.
Absolutely, we spend our time on what we're best at, which is strategic. It serves us well to lean on the experts when it comes to taxes and estate planning, etc.
Okay. And how do you assist your clients in fundraising efforts?
In the startup communities, you find a lot of businesses that either need money up front or need that second round of funding. And then in businesses that are growing, you find credit lines are necessary or loans for acquiring. And we get in front of all of that by doing, we're building data rooms for clients, all their financials in one place, and the financial institutions that do that lending are
now,
a
when
lot
did
happier
when did you open Gazelle? Now, you left Kobe Marketing. I think you were on the show just last year talking about Kobe. When did you open Gazelle?
September of this year.
September of this year, and so you're just a few months in. What have you done in the last? What have you seen in the last couple of months since opening up the company?
It's been going really well. I have a lot of local clients that are coming on board. Mostly through great relationships that I've built in this
area. How are you branding and marketing yourself in these first couple of months to find success? Is it that you have the relationships in place? Because anytime people start a company, that's one of the most difficult things is finding the clients. How have you had success with Gazelle in terms of finding the business out there?
I would say it's been mostly relationship driven at this point. That doesn't mean that I'm not working on the long-term approach.
Right.
So I've engaged in a couple of companies that have helped me with that, including Elevate out of Tampa, Akash Patel.
Yep, Akash been with me 3 years here on this program, and so know him well. Been in here many a times, and so a shout out to Akash Patel, Elevate Inc., specializing in public relations and making connections inside Tampa. That's one of his specialties. Let me take a break here. Currently talking to Ashby Green. He's the president of Gazelle Finance Planning and Analysis. You can learn more about him at gazellefpa.com or give him a call at 727-308-9638. Again, 727-308-9638 or visit gazellefpa.com. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. 4757. Rick Toseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project.
Savvy business owners utilize technology to connect with customers, communicate among teams, and collaborate with partners. Even with advances in technology, you all know it's not infallible. Where do you turn when your technology starts working against you? Who do you depend on to keep your team productive? Don't wait until your technology fails you. Get ahead of the crisis and contact the professionals at Alpha Computing Solutions so they can show you how to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit them online at www.alphacomputing.com.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today. What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you. Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today, or visit BillMeyerHam.com. That's BillMeyerHam.com. Have a conversation.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vein 911. We will help you feel great again.
Delays on westbound I-4 from the Polk Parkway over towards Park Road. Crash in the right-hand lane there. Also delays on southbound I-75 from Bruceby Downs to I-4. Crash on westbound Fletcher in the right-hand lane approaching 56th Street. That has traffic slow from I-75. May want to use Fowler through this area. Also heavy traffic on the Howard Franklin Bridge into the West Shore area. And a crash in South St. Pete, 54th Avenue South to 22nd Street. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uterick, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Bexley. Looking for adventure in a place you can call your own? Bexley, a new home community opening November 12th in Pasco County, will offer miles of trails, acres of open space, and new homes, now pre-selling. Learn more at BexleyFlorida.com. That's BexleyFlorida.com.
Today, a mix of sun and clouds and breezy, high 84. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 64. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 82.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And welcome back to That Business Show, now with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Our next big event is the second annual That Business Show Awards Dinner, so please mark your calendar for that. That's going to be on January 23rd of next year. It's going to be at the new Brian Glazer Family JCC, located at 522 North Howard Avenue. And if people aren't familiar with that, it's because it's not open yet. It'll be opened in December, so the awards show will be one of the first events, but that place is booking up very quickly as it's kind of becoming the place for events to kind of replace a la carte Pavilion, which was known for some of the bigger events here in the Tampa Bay region. So again, mark your tickets for that. You can mark your calendars for that, and you can pick up tickets over at tbbo.org/awards. We do have sponsor tables on sale. We have $800 tables and $1,200 tables, and the difference on that is the vendor booths that will be available out front during the networking reception for the people that are buying the $1,200 tables. And again, those include 10 tickets, so you can purchase that, sell those tickets back to people that you would like to attend with you, and you get the sponsorship recognition. So again, we got $800 tables and $1,200 tables. You can purchase the tickets individually. They're $59 for TBBO members and $69 for non-members, but definitely want to take advantage and consider buying one of those sponsorship tables, because you can again purchase those, sell back the tickets, get the credit, and get the other benefits of being a sponsor with the event. Last year we had 150 people and sold it out in 3 days, booked it at the Center Club. The only mistake I made was I had too small of room and underestimated the demand. So this year it'll be at the new Brian Glazer Family JCC. And the room holds up to 600. I don't know if we'll hit 600, but definitely we'll get in the threes and maybe even the 400s, especially once we announce the nominees for the different awards, which will be on January 9th. Once we announce those, then people will start sharing and talking about their nominations. That's when things will really start to take off. So be sure to mark your calendars again for January 23rd. We would love to see you out there. Currently talking to Ashby Green. He's the president of Gazelle Finance Planning and Analysis. You can learn more about him at GazelleFPA.com. And so, Ashby, does Gazelle work with and recommend accounting and HR vendors and systems?
We do. We have some experience in the HR area, but we try to rely on experts in the local community.
Okay, so again, you're just stepping into the CFO role. You're not really taking over for the entire management back end of the system. You're not handling the HR, but you do have people that you can help with building a business. Do you often find times where you're working with somebody who really doesn't know how to structure the business? They know how to sell their product, or they have a good product or service, but they really don't understand the business side of things. Do you come into those roles oftentimes?
Absolutely. Try to have a list of partners and/or vendors that we use on a regular basis to be able to advise them, give them really good contacts in the area.
Okay. And do I have to worry about qualifying my Gazelle consultant as an independent contractor?
Not at all. No, we do all of that on our side and keep all that out of the hair of the owner. So
okay, especially with some of the changes that are coming around this year with regard to HR, independent contractors, and all that stuff, definitely helps to be up to speed on that. We've talked about that a number of times on the program. So at what point does it make sense then to replace Gazelle consultants with permanent staff?
It depends on the size of your company. As it's growing and needs a full-time CFO, there's always that time, and if we're there for it, we're glad to support and find that role for you as well.
Okay, so now you've opened this company here as of September. You recently left Kobe Marketing. What has been what habits have helped make you successful? You're a serial entrepreneur, done a number of different things. Has it always also been in accounting and auditing and finance? It
has not. Some of my experience in other industries is because as an entrepreneur, you jump on opportunities.
Right.
It's been in the construction industry.
So what advice then would you give then to the entrepreneurs out there? What habits would you say have made you successful, and what advice would you leave the listenership with? We got about a minute left.
Okay. So my advice would be just to never give up, never stop coming up with ideas and dreams, and stay focused.
All right. Ashby Green, president of Gazelle Finance and Planning. You can learn more about him at GazelleFPA.com. Again, his company helps step into the CFO role of your company. Again, the Chief Financial Officer. Give him a call at 727-308-9638. Again, 727-308-9638. So, Ashby, thank you so much for being in studio today.
Thank you, Jamie.
And coming back from the break, we'll be talking to Diane Daniels. They were talking about the Medicare, and also is the host of Weight Loss Nation. So we'll be talking about her podcast as well when we come back from the break. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
Hi, I'm Kelly Ham from Billmeyer Ham Consulting. Did you know that one of the biggest challenges that leaders face is getting their employees to be engaged, motivated, and producing amazing business results? At Billmeyer Ham Consulting, we'll help you transform your workforce culture from one that might be underperforming, maybe mediocre, to achieving amazing business results. You see, we realize that your workforce culture is equally as important as your business plan and your business strategy. The two must be aligned in order for you to reach your desired business and financial goals.
Carol,
hey Jim.
I just got this plan that could really help with our process here.
Okay, why don't you just have a seat and let's go over it.
Let us help you transform your workforce culture by leveraging your most important assets, your people. I want to know what's going on in your organization. Let us help you transform your workforce culture. Let's have a conversation.
I feel guilty that I can't always be there when Mom feels stuck at home. She was always there for us. But now she can't get out, and I'm not always available to take her places. Someone else needs to help her get around. Then I learned about Home Instead. Now Mom can do what she enjoys because her personal caregiver is there, and I can just be a daughter again.
Are you struggling to care for your loved one? We can help. Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
And Bexley. Looking for adventure in a place you can call your own? Bexley, a new home community opening November 12th in Pasco County, will offer miles of trails, acres of open space, and new homes, now pre-selling. Learn more at BexleyFlorida.com. That's BexleyFlorida.com.
1250 winds, weather center forecast, mid-80s for the high today. See those temperatures drop throughout the week, getting back into the upper 70s, low 80s, and tonight's overnight low in the mid-60s. Possible chance for an isolated shower today. Look for some rain on Wednesday. Impact Radio 1250 winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And we're back to That Business Show. Now, if Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business, time to bring on our next guest for the program. We have Diane Daniels, who is the host of Medicare Nation. She's also been on the program before. She is a serial podcaster. She also has Weight Loss Nation as well. So she is an expert in Medicare. We'll be talking about that throughout the segment today. So, Diane, welcome to the program again.
Hey, what's doing, Jamie? Good to be here.
So, first off, just tell us a little bit about the podcast, Medicare Nation, availability, when it's on, so people have that.
Well, Medicare Nation is everything about Medicare that probably 90% of the podcast population doesn't want to know about because they're not seniors.
Right.
All right, but it's for people that are 65 and older. We're growing that segment on the podcast since I launched it last year, and it's primarily for the adult children of seniors, so that they are the sandwich generation.
All right.
Okay, and they're taking care of their kids, they're taking care of their parents, and they have no idea how to help them when it comes to Medicare, which is the program, the health insurance program for people 65 and older. So if they listen to Medicare Nation, which comes out once a week on Fridays, they can learn a lot more about Medicare and how to help their parents find the right Medicare plan for their lifetime.
At what age should people begin to start researching and learning about Medicare? Because honestly, I don't know anything about Medicare. I know it's got a couple of parts, some letters involved. We're going to learn about that today. But for people as they age, when do they need to start taking Medicare seriously and start doing some research on this ahead of the age 65?
64.
64.
64. When I'm 64, said the Beatles. That's the year that everybody should be really keen in and paying attention and start doing their research for Medicare. There's actually what's called the initial enrollment period, which is a 7-month period. If you take the month of your birthday and then you go backwards 3 months and then you go forward 3 months, that's 7 months out of the year you have to enroll in the Medicare program when you're getting ready to turn 65. So you've got that whole year of when you're 64 to figure this out. And it's real important, Jamie, because I've met hundreds of people that have made decisions that they really thought was the right decision for the right Medicare plan. But it turned out to be a disaster for them because they just didn't understand, and they put their trust in neighbors and son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws and all kinds of people, and it just didn't fit their lifestyle.
Do you have to qualify for Medicare? Is this something available to everybody at age 65? Does it go hand in hand with other insurance programs that you may have, for instance? How does that come into play?
Great question. You do need to qualify for Medicare. And how you do that is that, number one, you need to have 10 years of paying into FICA. Remember your taxes that we pay into, right?
Right.
As we pay into. That's just the Federal Insurance Contribution Act.
Okay.
And when you put into FICA, part of that goes to Social Security, and part of that goes into the Medicare fund.
Okay.
So for 10 consecutive years or 40 quarters equals the same amount of time. Just tried to help people who might have been home raising children or unemployed or go back to school. Tried to help people get those 10 years or 40 quarters. You qualify, okay, for Medicare, and you get Part A, which is what I like to call your accommodations of Medicare. Where you stay overnight. Where would you stay overnight, Jamie? Now, you can answer this. If you were getting health care, where would you stay?
Where would I stay?
Yeah, overnight to receive health care.
Tampa General Hospital?
There you go.
Okay,
See, all right.
Okay.
So there you go. So you would stay overnight in a hospital. That's
Okay.
Part A. Also in a skilled nursing facility. It's not nursing home. Medicare does not help you with a nursing home. It's skilled care. So it's 24-hour medical care with rehab.
Okay.
And, of course, hospice, okay, where a physician will determine that you have the probability of less than 6 months to live. You would either go to a facility or stay at home.
Okay.
So that's what Part A is, and that's what it covers, the all the treatment, testing, the Jell-O you get when you're in the hospital, all the personal care that the nurses give you is all part of Part A of Medicare. So you would be qualified for that if you work the 10 years and 40 quarters contributing to FICA, okay? You do need to also be 65 years old. It's not like Social Security where you can pick it up earlier. It's 65 or more for now, okay? God knows what's going to happen on Wednesday, okay? That could change the whole tune of this. But for now and today, on November 7th, that you need to be 65.
How does open enrollment, or does that come into play with Medicare? Is November 1st a key date with Medicare, or does that not matter with Medicare?
No, it does. As a matter of fact, it's October. Okay, so right now it's October 15th.
Okay.
And it goes until December 7th, which is Pearl Harbor Day. So that's for the baby boomers, that's great. They remember that date. So from October 15th to December 7th is the open enrollment period. And it's basically for Medicare Advantage plans, which is a totally different type of Medicare plan than from the original Medicare program. So it affects those people, which a lot of people are on Medicare Advantage plans. So right now we're in the smack in the middle of annual enrollment period for Medicare Advantage plans. So this is the time people can make their changes. If they don't like the plan they're on, they can switch to another Medicare Advantage plan. They can go off the plan and go back to the original Medicare program that the government imposed in 1965. They can also join and sign up for a Medigap or supplement to Medicare plans to help pay for their out-of-pocket expenses. And they can also go on special need plans if they have breathing problems, heart problems, diabetes. So this is the time of year.
How complicated is it navigating the different Medicare options? Are there all kinds of different choices and plans associated with Medicare?
Let me ask you this question, and I'm hoping you're going to give me the right answer. Have you ever solved that Rubik's Cube?
No, but I did buy a book on how to solve it, though. So, yes.
I couldn't solve it either.
I did solve it, but it took that book.
All right, so...
And I tried to memorize that book, too, so I'd look all...
You should have memorized it.
I did, but I never did memorize it. I thought I'd look all swab, to bust out with solving the Rubik's Cube, but anyway, sorry.
So there you go. It is like that. I was never able to do it, and I'll take the book. I'd like to learn to do it myself. But really, Medicare is crazy. There's so many changes during the year that occur. Legislature changes laws all the time. The plans are always changing. It's insane for people to navigate that. So that is why I have Medicare Nation to help people with that, so they can go on the podcast, look at the different episodes that will help them understand the components of Medicare, the different types of plans of Medicare, and what they need to know, and changes as they come that are, pulsing now with what's going on.
And I imagine Medicare is always on the chopping, not necessarily the chopping block, but always on the block to be talked about up on Capitol Hill with every legislative session. They're probably always wanting to make changes to it. Am I right about that?
They don't want you to know anything about Medicare because, it's funded, right? And we're funding it.
Right.
So when you put your hands in a cookie jar, they don't want the constituents to know about that and what's really going on behind that curtain.
And Medicare is one of the biggest components of the national debt, if I'm not mistaken.
It certainly is.
It's like one of the top one or two or something. It is. Yeah,
absolutely. And they love to put the onus on the beneficiaries, that they're the ones that are causing the major problem for all their testing and all their illnesses and blah, blah, blah. It is not the people who are on Medicare. Okay, the greatest generation of those baby boomers who are now receiving Medicare, and I'm at the end of that ladder, Jamie. I'm at the bottom of the baby boomer ladder, so I am a baby boomer, and I totally understand that that's not the problem. That's not what's going to cause Medicare to become insolvent. They predict by 2030 that we won't have Medicare anymore. Okay? It's a bunch of BS. You want to know what the number one problem is that we really could fix, and if the politicians would pay attention?
What is that?
Is fraud.
Fraud.
$65 billion. Billion is
You're right.
lost.
I do hear about that in the news a lot. How easy.
Absolutely. It's incredible.
I think all you got to do is send them an invoice and they pay it. All right, here's the invoice.
I'm serious. It could be that easy. So if you're saying over $65 billion a year is lost to fraud, abuse, and waste, let's get on that runway and let's take care of that problem. And then we solve the biggest problem that is causing Medicare to possibly become insolvent.
Now, you said Medicare Part A has to do with the inpatient insurance part.
Look how much you learned already.
Yeah. How do deductibles come into play with this, and does it cover anything and everything related to health care at that point when you get, taken to the hospital, for instance?
So Part A, being inpatient accommodations, original Medicare, the program that's been in effect since 1965, they put it. It was never established to cover everything for health care. It's there to cover the brunt of it, 80% of it, to be in fact. Okay, so when you're going to be going into the hospital, there's a deductible. It's $1,288 this year, 2016. It will go up in 2017. They're not going to announce it. I hope to God they do it before Christmas. But we got to have the election and everybody got to acclimate and blah blah blah. So $1,288 right now. Every time you go in the hospital. That's insane. That's a large deductible for people.
So each time you go in there, it's $1,288.
If you stay over,
if you stay over
as an inpatient, that's
okay.
right. 1 day, whether it's 1 day or it's 59 days. Okay, Medicare will pay up to 90 days. Okay, if you're in the hospital.
90 days, but so it's just the $1,288 one time if you're in there continually. It's when
that's
you go
right.
out and come back in that you got to pay another $1,288 then.
That's right. The disclaimer is if you go out and if it's less than 60 days and you go back in for the exact same thing, how often is that going to happen?
Yeah.
Nada. Yeah. So zilch. So you're going to pay $1,288 every single time you got to be an inpatient in the hospital. Okay. Then you'll be covered for everything.
All right. Now Part B of Medicare, what is this about?
All right. So if everything is covered as an inpatient for Part A. Part B is everything else, right? It's outpatient. Okay, so everything you can think of. Tell me something you would need to do to get care for.
Broken arm.
There you go. You could go to the doctors. You can go to urgent care. You go to the emergency room, right? Exactly. That's outpatient. Okay. Going to the lab, like a Quest or a LabCorp, to get your blood drawn for the doctors is an example. Going for X-rays, having the same-day surgery, ambulatory surgery. You're going for arthroscopic knee surgery. You have the surgery. They wheel you back into the recovery room, check your vitals, give you juice and crackers, and kick you out. That's under Part B, right? All right. So the deductible for Part B is an annual one. And for 2016, it's $166.
How much is it?
$166.
$166.
I know you're thinking that's just like unbelievably great, okay?
Right.
But you forget now, that's just your deductible. After you pay that $166, now you got to pay 20% of everything, all the Medicare allowable costs.
Okay, so with Part A, you're only paying the deductible, and then is there a copay on top of that?
Nope. Part A is just the deductible.
Okay, so that's, again, designed for the major, I guess they find Part A is kind of the major cost being associated with a hospital stay versus an outpatient service.
There you go.
So that's the reasoning behind the Part A and the Part B. Did Part A and Part B come about at the same time when Medicare was founded, or are these just, how it's developed through the years?
Now, I'm not really good in English, but I can remember a teacher telling me if you're going to have an A, you got to have a B.
Right.
Right? So that's what they did. Right? So when they started making you have an A, you got to have a B. So they have A and B was together.
Okay, A and B
that's
went
what they
together.
started. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and then you said there's a C and a D too also?
There is. So after the constituency said this is enough, we're paying outrageous amounts of money out of pocket for health care. I thought this was supposed to help us. It's not enough. So finally in the 1980s, the legislature finally put together Part C, which is Choice, Medicare Choice. That's what they called it. And that's the Medicare Advantage plans that I was talking to you about earlier. So they said to the private insurance companies, okay, gang, let's get you guys involved. You're going to manage the people that are on your plan. If they sign up and enroll in your plan, you have to have the same benefits that we do for original Medicare. But you have to manage the people. You have to manage the network of doctors and facilities and labs that are in your network. And then we'll pay you to do that. So we'll pay you to do it, but you got to manage it and make sure you do everything that that we have and what we tell you to do. And that's what Medicare Part C was. It gave the people a choice to choose original Medicare, the government program in 1965, or now to join a Medicare Advantage plan and have a network of doctors and facilities and labs.
Now, you're the host of Medicare Nation. Tell me a little about the type of guests that you get onto the program and some of the other topics that you go into other than just the basics. What is Medicare?
So, today is what, on Facebook, they send you these things 1 year ago today. You know how Facebook is, right? So today I happen to see it. I had a guest, Dr. Stephen Loomis. He's the president of the National Optometrist Association. So he's a member, and he was a guest on my show, and we talked about everything to do with the eyes and diseases of the eyes, and what's the difference between an optometrist and an ophthalmologist, and then I cover what Medicare benefits are available to the people so that they'd be able to utilize an optometrist or ophthalmologist. So I've also had National Kidney Foundation members on, people from the Diabetic Association, all national foundations that anything that has to do with health is related are on my show. They love to be on the show because we get to talk about their foundation. Right. We get to talk about resources, because that's the biggest problem with Medicare. There's no resources. Okay, people have no idea where they're supposed to go to look for anything. So by going to a foundation, it's wonderful to go on the National Optometrist Association website, because now I can type in my zip code and find out where there's a certified optometrist that I could go to. So I help people with resources. We have the experts, doctors, and other civilians that help with questions that they want to know about. Everything to do about Medicare.
What is the difference between an ophthalmologist and optometrist?
I'm telling you, Kelly, I did, 2 years ago, I didn't know myself, okay? But Dr. Loomis is unbelievable. He's a fantastic guy. So he told me that an optometrist is the family doctor for your eyes. Okay, that's just like you go to your primary doctor, you would go to an optometrist for your eyes. They can handle any diagnosis for your eyes. If your eyes need surgery, then you go to the ophthalmologist.
So that's the specialist, the
That's
ophthalmologist.
right, the surgeon. The ophthalmologist is a surgeon.
Okay.
That's what makes them different. But I am so glad that he taught me that, because less than 3 months ago, I finally went to an optometrist, because I didn't even know they were doctors. I mean, it's embarrassing, okay? 2 years ago, I had no idea. And he diagnosed me with a very rare glaucoma. If I didn't go to that guy, oh my God, I could be blind today.
Oh, wow.
So I'm telling you, I love Dr. Loomis and all the information we get. Believe me, I sat there and had glaucoma for all of you out there, okay? So now I can help you guys and understand what's going on, but that's the difference.
You talk about resources for Medicare, so you're a big resource, though, for consumers out there. They could go to the website callsamm.com, again, CALLSAMM.com, and also find your podcast, Medicare Nation, available on iTunes. We've got another segment with Diane when we come back from the break. You're currently listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. 4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project.
Savvy business owners utilize technology to connect with customers, communicate among teams, and collaborate with partners. Even with advances in technology, you all know it's not infallible. Where do you turn when your technology starts working against you? Who do you depend on to keep your team productive? Don't wait until your technology fails you. Get ahead of the crisis and contact the professionals at Alpha Computing Solutions so they can show you how to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit them online at www.alphacomputing.com.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today. What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you. Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit BillMeyerHam.com. That's BillMeyerHam.com. Have a conversation.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
And tired, heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vein 911. We will help you feel great again.
Crash in South St. Pete on eastbound 54th Avenue South at 22nd Street, blocking a couple lanes. Slow traffic on the Howard Franklin Bridge into the West Shore area, and southbound Veterans Expressway between Waters and 275. Disabled vehicle on eastbound Kennedy Boulevard approaching West Shore. This, of course, near West Shore Plaza in the left-hand lane. And heavy traffic still on westbound I-4 approaching Park Road. Crash off to the right-hand side there. See traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uterick. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Lead Safe America. Does your child struggle to concentrate and pay attention? What looks like ADD or autism may actually be caused by lead poisoning. Lead is a neurotoxin. It can cause permanent brain damage. Find out how to protect your family. Go to leadsafeamerica.org.
Partly cloudy and breezy, high 84. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 64. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 82.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And we're back to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business, talking about Medicare with Diane Daniels, host of Medicare Nation. Again, a podcast available on iTunes, and you can also learn more at her website, callsamm.com.
Diane, you hear a lot about different seminars for Medicare and to explain the benefits of Medicare. And what is your take on the different seminars that are out there? How do you know what to go to and what to listen to and what not to?
Well, it's funny because this time of year, okay, because we've only got until December 7th, your Sunday newspaper is just imploded with ads for all these seminars, okay, from all the different carriers, Blue Cross, Humana, Aetna, Care Plus. I mean, all of them. They're all wanting to get people to come to their seminars. The problem with the seminars is that they really are hard sell. Okay, so a person that's going to go to a seminar, the whole criteria for those spokespersons at the seminar is to get you to sign up to enroll in their program. And I don't like that, and I try to tell people to stay away from them, okay, to go to more educational seminars that you might find people who are doing them at libraries or other different events that's open to the public.
But there's no ulterior motive behind it. They just want to educate you.
The education ones are for educating, but the ones that are the seminars, that is an ulterior motive. They want to enroll you.
So you want to find those that don't have that ulterior motive.
That's right. You want it to say purely educational. You don't want to see any insurance insignia or logo that's in the program. If there's no logo, then it's probably going to be educational, and you have a safer bet of just learning more about Medicare.
It's kind of like Roger mentioned earlier in the show about the seminars some of the seminars you go to for real estate or whatever it may be, and it may not cost you anything to go, but it costs you to leave. I thought that was funny.
It definitely costs you to leave.
Now, your business, Senior Advisors for Medicare and Medicaid, that's where the website calls AMM.com comes from. It's an acronym for Senior Advisors for Medicare and Medicaid. Tell me about your services and how you help consumers out there and how this works.
My number one priority is to educate seniors. I will travel to anywhere in Florida to a senior community, whether it's a 55-plus community or an assisted living facility, and I will present to them for free. I will always take care of my seniors. If someone wants to consult with me because they really don't know what to do in regards to finding a Medicare plan, I am licensed in the state of Florida as a health and life insurance agent, and I can sit with them, and I'm contracted with almost all of the plans in Florida. I only say that because Florida Blue, you cannot sign up and be with them unless you are employed by them. So they don't hire independent contractors, so I'm not a Florida Blue representative. And there are a couple of other ones that I will not personally sign up because they've been fined by over $250,000 by the Center for Medicare Services. I wouldn't want any of my clients or people to be on a plan like that until they get their
Now, can
stuff
somebody
straightened out.
who's just turned age 65 give you a call, you consult with them? Do you get paid a commission by helping them place a plan, or do you have to charge them, or how do you get paid for consulting, for instance?
All health and life agents will get paid by a commission from the insurance company. What's great about Medicare, Jamie and Kelly, is that it's so highly regulated that all of the Medicare insurance carriers, the payment, which is so crappy, okay, is just about the same between all of them, give or take $5 to $10 a piece. So there's nothing like in the days where with financial advisors they kept pushing a company because they got a higher commission. It's not like that with the Medicare plans. They're all relatively about the same price. So if you're an independent person, that's who you want to go with, is an independent insurance agent who can help you with most of the plans in Florida, because they don't have any loyalty to any of the insurance carriers. They want to help you with your needs. That's what you're looking for.
No, a good resource here in studio for your Medicare questions. Again, you can find her podcast available on iTunes. Just search for Medicare Nation or visit her website, callsamm.com, and you can give her a call at 855-7266. Again, 855-7266. So, Diane Daniels, thank you so much for being in studio.
Hey,
today.
guys, thanks so much.
And another great discussion, and I get to learn each and every morning here on this program. Another great reason to tune in each and every morning is because the show is so informative and also entertaining at the same time. So we appreciate all the listeners out there. I know Medicare is not actually entertaining, but nonetheless.
We were entertaining today.
We make it entertaining.
Yeah, we make it entertaining.
You've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.